All right, what is going on, everybody? Good morning. Hope you are doing fantastic. Guys, today, what I'm going to do is really just take about, I'd say up to 5 or 10 minutes, between 5 or 10 minutes rather. And I want to show you guys how to actually optimize a Google business profile after it was reinstated. So after the reinstatement, after it was suspended, you were able to fix it, you were able to reinstate it. What happens now, right? I think a lot of business owners, unfortunately, they are in this predicament where they get their business profile suspended for whatever reason, whether it's Google's fault or their fault, whatever it is. And then they essentially take the liberty of fixing it, and then they don't know what to do. Because what happens, guys, and no one talks about this, is when a business profile is suspended, they lose the majority of their keywords online. So if someone was to Google local plumber in Philadelphia, what actually happens is the Google business profile a lot of the times is not able to be found because they lost their rankings, right? And I think it's a really hard pill to swallow for a lot of business owners because you have to think these people spent years, if not decades, building up the Google business profile with reviews, with SEO, with posts, all this stuff, only to unfortunately be told that it is all gone. And that's kind of true. It's kind of not true. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But really, guys, I want to just take you on a step by step path on what you should do if you fixed your profile and now you need SEO. You need better SEO. You're not showing up. What ultimately happens? All right. So I'll just start with this. You fixed your profile, whether it's a service based business, whatever it is, right? Service based business. And let's just say you fixed all of the issues with the profile. So what I mean by that is you were able to completely verify the profile, reinstate the profile, unsuspended it, whatever term you want to use, whatever issue you were dealing with, whether it was a circumventing issue, whether it was a duplicate profile issue, whether it was a deceptive content issue, whatever it is, you fixed it, right? So we're not going to talk about like the kind of intertwinings of fixing it anymore. It's completely fixed. What you want to do, especially day one after the profile was fixed, is you want to start doing a full audit on the profile itself. And what I mean by that is what tends to happen when a Google business profile is fixed is some things are missing, right? You might be missing reviews, you might be missing posts, you might be missing your categories, your services, your products, all in the Google business profile. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have a full, complete audit of what you have and what you don't have. Because if you don't do an audit, first and foremost, you don't know really where you stand. And you want to make sure you have that audit to make sure if you're missing all those things that I mentioned, you're adding in the missing reviews, categories, products, photos, posts, updates, services, what have you, right? Explore categories, whatever it is, right? And it's very important that you guys do the audit because of what I just said. So that's the first thing. The second thing is now actually doing the work that you need to do to get all that stuff back, but with a twist. I will say a lot of people unfortunately get suspended again because they do way too much work once the profile is fixed. They try to add in way too many photos, they try to add in way too many reviews. There's just way too much activity. Hence, Google is essentially saying, oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on here. It's quote unquote spammy because there's a lot of activity, and it's comparable as spammy because of other other IPs, other business profiles doing similar things. So they're going to flag it as such because it's similar activity, right? And they're going to potentially suspend the account again. So what you guys can do to avoid that is you can just start slowly but surely adding in what is missing. So here's a good schedule on what I like to do. I would say for the first couple of days, once a profile is fixed and reinstated, don't do anything. Like, and this might be kind of counterintuitive, um, but you want to not do a single thing. And the reason I say that is it gives time with the Google business profile to just settle. It's just reinstated. You want to make sure it's just settled and it's just working. It doesn't get suspended again, whatever it is. You want to make sure for me, what I like to do and tell my clients is for at least 24 hours, don't do anything to the profile. Make sure it resets, hard reset, and then go on from there. So after that, after the 24 hours, what I would recommend is to add in or do one single activity to the profile each day. What do I mean by that? If you're changing up your phone number, your website, your description, your services, your products, your categories, you want to just change one thing of that. So change the category, change the products, change the service, whatever it is, right? And what you want to do is just be consistent with that. Because if you're not being consistent, you're not actually able to have that ongoing momentum to actually bring a lot of activity to the profile. So it's really, really, I don't say easy, but it's simple, right? And sometimes it might be easy too. But you want to just add in one product, one service, change the description, that stuff, right? You don't want to change all these things at once because then it's going to be a red flag to Google, right? And then outside of that, guys, what I would actually recommend you do is start posting to the actual profile if you haven't already. I would say bare minimally once per week. Now, I normally say three, but the reason I'm saying one, just for the time being, is the profile was just reinstated. You're kind of in a period now of purgatory where you're like, you don't know really where you are between heaven and hell. And you don't want to make sure, you want to make sure at the end of the day, you don't end up in the latter. So what I like to do is at least do one post per week. And then as time goes on, week by week, start increasing that by one until you get up to three. So 3 weeks. And then some people post every day, some people post 5 times. But at that point, the Google algorithm is almost kind of warmed up. It's like cold email, right? You have to send, a small amount of emails up front, get the domain warmed up, and then you can start sending more, right? That's kind of the whole process. Because if you just start sending 100 emails per day, you're going to get flagged. It's not going to work, right? So that's kind of what you guys can do. From what I've seen, when you get a business profile suspended, when it gets re-verified, what do you ultimately do? Because it's a tricky situation, right? At the end of the day, it's one of those things, guys, where Google wants to do the best thing for their customers and they don't reward spammy behavior, right? So you want to make sure you're doing things kind of methodically, I would say. That's probably the best word to use. And yeah, outside of that, that's what I would recommend for you guys to check out. So guys, if you got any value out of this video whatsoever, hit like, hit subscribe, turn on post notifications, and comment below if you guys have any questions. I like to answer, as many questions as I have pertaining to a lot of these things that we talk about. So guys, hope this helped. Hope you got any value out of this video. If my business profile was suspended and I was able to re-verify it today, tomorrow, this is what I would do. Honestly, everything in the video, I would just do this whole thing. And as time goes on, guys, it's a work in progress. It's organic. It's not ads. It's not PPC. It's just going to take time. Really, it's going to take time to build up those keyword rankings, and it should, because you had a suspended profile. So I know that kind of hurts to hear, but it's the reality of the situation. So, guys, hope you had a great holiday here. Monday, we're getting back into it tomorrow. Some people are probably still off, but all good. Hope you guys had a great one, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Be well.